Brand new season. Benny versus the Penny is back. Season 2, courtesy of YouTube, of course. And it is week number 1 in the National Football League. I'm David Gascon, joined now by one and only Ben Maller. Ben, what's up, man?
Well, listen, I'm so excited that we're back. There's angels dancing that we are back together on YouTube. It was a game time decision, though, because we almost had 7 or 8 other platforms that we were going to be on, but here we are. So, hey, and more importantly, I am 1-0 thanks to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers keeping the Dallas Cowboys in that game on Thursday night football. So, thank you for all the turnovers. Thank you for the 11 penalties by Tampa Bay. Otherwise, Tampa would have won that game by 20 points. So, woulda, coulda, shoulda. But we're off to the 1-0 start. So if I stop right now on Benny versus the Penny, 100% win total for this, 1,000% actually for the entire season. So, but the games go on. So we will continue.
Well, start off right. This is a lot better than what you did last season against the Penny, but I've remodeled the house a little bit. I hope you like it. Obviously, a little bit of realignment, but certainly
what is that? Is that
conversation?
Is that drywall behind you? What is going on here? And I have just a black different look, but it's as we were told in one of those meetings, Gascon. It doesn't matter what we were told that by someone. It doesn't matter. So.
Yeah. No, of course. The aesthetics don't matter, but all is well. So, yeah, it's great to get the show on the road, man. It's a brand new year, and at least you start off 1-0. We'll see what you do into the weekend.
Yeah. Now, do you have moons filled with helium there or something like that? Do you have, are you surrounded with helium or something like that? No?
I'm tweaking some things, yes. Can you tell?
Okay. All right. Yeah, you sound, let me see what I could say here to see. It's
smoke weed every day.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, why don't we get into it right now? So there's no need to look back at last year. Do we? I don't even stop early. We didn't even finish the season last year because of some other things that popped up. But we will march on. 1-0 is the only thing you need to know. 1-0 this season, and that was compliments of Dallas covering the 8.5. The 8.5. So this is marginal football handicapping for every game. And we're going to start in Orchard Park, New York, as Buffalo and Pittsburgh going at it now. The Steelers, the road team here. It's on CBS with Ian Eagle, whose kid is a Clipper announcer, and Charles Davis. Good guy. Used to work at Fox back in the day. Anyway, the Buffalo Bills open up a 5.5-point favorite. The Bills are currently at 6.5. It's going to be about 80 degrees in Orchard Park. They're calling it Highmark Stadium. How many different names has that stadium had? I was there. I think it was Ralph Wilson Stadium when I was there. No, it might have been. There was Pro Player because I guess the company back there that makes. I think it was Pro Player. The company that makes New Era. Was it New Era? The one that makes the hats.
Yeah.
New Era. Pro Player was in Miami. Anyway, so Buffalo and Pittsburgh, a couple of AFC opponents. Buffalo, one of the darlings of the NFL world. So we're going to try to go a little quicker this year, Gascon. That's one of the things we're working on is go a little quicker. Yeah, up tempo. So we have like a 4-minute timer that we're going to set here. I'm going to hit a button, and then I'll do that on the next game. I didn't do it on this game, but
it's going to sound like this.
Yeah. Well, this is a clown show. This is a clown show. So I'm taking Pittsburgh in this game plus the 6.5. The Steelers have a defense that still figures to be one of the better defenses in the NFL. It's impossible not to like them in this spot, getting almost a touchdown. I realize Buffalo's the better team, and Buffalo's got dreams of championships and all that stuff. But the offensive line, that scares me a bit here for Pittsburgh. They made a bunch of changes, but that doesn't mean bad. That means they made changes. That means there are new people there. And I'm obviously not very high on Ben Roethlisberger in this situation at all. This is last year. He's hanging on. He's in decline. He's dependent on yards after catch. So guys like Chase Claypool and friends, the receiving core in Pittsburgh are going to have to do the heavy lifting. But I do want to see how Pittsburgh's offense works. They have the new offensive line and Najee Harris of Alabama, who was a total stud. We saw him play at Alabama, so we'll see if he's any good as a beginner. Beginner's luck in the NFL. Now, this is not a bet against Josh Allen, but it is more a bet on Pittsburgh's defense. And I'm a little annoyed by the hype. As you know, Gascon, I am wired. When somebody gets too much hype, I start turning on them.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen is the darling of the public and the media for the MVP and all that. So I expect this to be a closer game than most. Certainly the line seems too high. I think the Steelers defensively will be able to create some turnovers from Josh Allen, and that's going to be the key to this. If the Steelers cannot force mistakes out of Buffalo, if it's a clean game and there's no mistakes, then you lean obviously the other way to Buffalo. But I'm leaning towards Pittsburgh. It's early in the season, sloppy play. We saw that in the Thursday night game. And this is also a bit of a mild revenge game because Buffalo absolutely melted the steel last year when these teams got together on national TV. So final score, Bills 27 and the Steelers 23. And the Penny picks.
First one, week one, going the opposite way, going with the home team, going with the Bills in this one.
All right, there you
What a
go.
surprise.
Shocking. Now, the Penny did pick the Cowboys, by the way. I want to point out the Penny did pick the Cowboys. So we were both 1-0 in the opener. All right. Now, meanwhile, we've got the Jets at Carolina. Next game on the board here. It's on CBS with Andrew Catalan and James Lofton. I think CBS has kept their broadcasting crews pretty much the same. Fox has made some changes. But the line on this game, the Panthers opened up a 3.5-point favorite. 3.5-point favorite. And they are currently a 4-point favorite. This early in the week, this game was up to like 5 in some spots. But as we're doing this in real time, the line we have is at 4. Typical warm weather in September, early in the NFL season. So it's going to be almost 90 degrees in Charlotte at Bank of America Stadium. So I am going to cover my eyes, plug my ears, and hope for divine intervention here. But I'm taking the JETS suck +4. And I'll tell you why quickly. Beginner's luck. I mentioned that last game, but I'm going to stick with that here. Robert Saleh, the former 49er defensive coordinator. He's the guy that goes, wow, like that. They get him on TV all the time because he's got a lot of animations. Yeah, he's very emotional. Very emotional. He makes for good television. So Robert Saleh, the new coach. Zach Wilson, who I like. It's one of the reasons I didn't talk much about him on the radio show, but I'm not going to go full Tony Romo here and anoint Zach Wilson as Dan Marino. But I would be surprised if he comes out here and just poops the bed. He's got a pretty good grasp of what he's doing. Do I expect him to dominate? No, I don't think he's going to dominate like he's at BYU and they're playing Utah or something like that. But this is a sneaky good spot because the Panthers are not all that much better than the Jets. People think that's insane and crazy. The Jets were not trying to win last year. Robert Saleh, and the effort's going to be there now to try to be a competitive team and all that. And the other good thing about betting on bad teams is they don't realize they're supposed to suck.
Yeah.
Right? They don't realize they're supposed to suck early in the year. And then as an added bonus, think of this as the daily double or the trifecta. Sam Darnold, he has better talent around him than he did in New York. However, the guy's a loser. And do you trust Sam Darnold in his first game in Carolina? And he's going to have to continue to make plays throughout the game. And you're getting over a field goal. I don't. I know Christian McCaffrey's healthy and he's playing, and that scares you, and he'll make a couple of big plays and slice up the Jets' defense. This game will finish within 4 points. This is a field goal game either way. On the final score, Panthers 26 and the Jets 23.
Penny not agreeing with you either. Going with Carolina and Sam Darnold in this one.
Are you sure this is legit? You're not doctoring the Penny, right? You're not.
No.
No?
Have not done that. Have never done that, despite the winning season last year. No, it's not the case at all.
No, I did see on the live feed. Now, the way this works on YouTube, we do it live, and then whoever can watch, and then we have the rebroadcast where we get a lot of people checking out on demand. But I did see that our friend Roscoe the Parrot, David, has arrived. David's the guy in 2019, I guess it was, a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
He drove from Florida to Boston to hang out for an hour, and he's picking there. And I see Gordy is there. We got a bunch of interesting cats. The top 1% of the P1s are there. So
A little early in the day for them too.
it's early in the day for me too. By the way, I want to put
That's
that out. Not normally functioning at this time, but so we're 2 games in, and we'll press on. Now, the next game, this is one of those games, Gascon, where you don't spend a lot of time worrying about it. It's Jacksonville at Houston. Jacksonville at Houston, the next game, a CBS game with Greg Gumbel and Adam Archuleta. He's been doing that a while now, Adam Archuleta. Anyway, game is being played in Houston at NRG Stadium. It's a dome. There's some rain in the area. The dome will likely be closed. 84 degrees outside at kickoff. Jacksonville, a road favorite, the worst team in football. That's how bad the perception is for Houston. Jacksonville was a -2 favorite when this game opened. They are a -3 favorite right now. And I am going to go full crazy town, right? I am going to go, you're going to have to you're going to have to bleep me here. I'm taking Jacksonville -3 in this game. The way I look at this, Gascon, this is a soft launch for Trevor Lawrence. It's like when you open up a restaurant, you have the opening date, and then you also have, in the lead up to that, you might open up a day before when nobody knows you're open, just so the kitchen staff can kind of figure out how everything works. So this is a soft launch for football for Trevor Lawrence and also Urban Meyer, who gets his first crack as a regular season NFL coach. I am cautiously optimistic that Urban and Jacksonville will not screw this up, right? He would be wise to give a heavy workload to the running back. Jacksonville actually had, James Robinson, undrafted guy, was really good. They had Carlos Hyde. They added him. He's been around. And you set up the passing game here. Trevor Lawrence, I would imagine, is going to be throwing early and often to DJ Chark. They have Marvin Jones, who's been around a while. There's opportunity there to get off to a good start. There's a reason Jacksonville is favored here. It's a little bit to do with the fact that the perception of Houston is terrible, but also, they've got some playmakers that are buried on that team, and the assumption being that, and I'm going with this, that Urban Meyer will be able to get some of that out of there. But it's really more of a play against the Texans than it is on Trevor Lawrence in his first start dominating. I don't think he will dominate. I'd be very surprised by that. But I think he'll play okay, well enough to get the win. And the Texans are dysfunction junction, right? Dysfunction junction. What is your function? So Tyrod Taylor is the quarterback in place of the suspended. Well, he's not really suspended, but he's on timeout. Does Deshaun Watson, does he get massages before these games, or is he not allowed because he's not playing? I don't know. But Tyrod Taylor, the game manager, he's dull. He avoids mistakes, throws a lot of short passes, and occasionally looks good. But I'm going to take Jacksonville in this game, as I said. Jags 30 and the Texans 20. Your final.
Penny's going with you in this one. Going Jacksonville. Like in the
All right,
roadie.
so we both taking a rookie quarterback and a rookie coach in their first games. And
in a hostile
if you're
environment.
that's right. And if you're a Texans fan, Gascon, you can always go you're going to hear this a lot.
Yeah.
That's a sound you're going to hear a lot after most of the games. This is actually a chance they have a chance to win this game, which is weird.
They do. I was going to say their win total this year is, I think, at 4. I don't know how they get to 4 unless Deshaun Watson plays. But even still, he's got nothing around him.
No, he's not going to play.
No.
You have a better chance of playing for the Texans.
Yeah.
You have a much better chance. So
I get mobility. Back off.
yeah. Some people pointing out, Gascon, that Benny versus the Penny. I'm looking at the chat here. Some of the hardcore guys that are in the chat room, and they're pointing out that in most of the country, most of the other time zones, Benny versus the Penny is not that early. But
it is. It is for
where
your
we
listeners.
are located in LA. It is
Your listeners are usually still asleep at this time. It's 4:20 Eastern.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
We're getting positive reviews for the Jim Mora podcast. I love Jim.
Jim was great.
I'm so happy. Jim
was good. If you didn't check it out already, go on to Apple iTunes or wherever you find your favorite podcasting applications and look that up. Jim Mora on the Fifth Hour with Ben Maller. It was really good. We probably could have talked to him for an hour or two. He was on fire.
Yeah, I love Jim. Jim was, of all the people, well, I won't say all the people, but he's in the top 5 of all the different former athletes and coaches that have worked in the building at the radio station. So he's been great, and I hadn't talked to him in a while though. I called him up. I was a little nervous. I hadn't talked to Jim in a while. He couldn't have been nicer.
You were talking to him like you guys were best buds. Like it was.
Yeah, we were catching up. He was asking me about some of the old guys at FSR, like what happened to this guy, that guy, and so he still got it, man. I am so impressed, man. I told him if you listen to the Jim Moore interview, he's 86 years old.
Yeah.
80, he's closing in on 90, and he's still got all of his faculties, and he's still working out. And can we all be lucky enough, be fortunate enough to have that? That would be great. So
yeah, I just don't want to race to that age, if you don't mind. Thank you.
I feel like we're doing that. It's insane here. What's going on? Yeah. Oh, Mr. Luciano's return. Big news in the chat. Big news. We'd like to alert all of the people who are going to be watching this later. Mr. Luciano has returned. It's exciting.
Back loud and proud. It's all good.
Yeah. All right. Moving on here on Benny versus the Penny. Next game for us, Arizona at Tennessee. This game on CBS with Tom McCarthy and Tiki Barber. Now, the game opened up, Titans favored by 2.5. The line at this moment, as we are doing this live on Benny versus the Penny, Tennessee is a 3-point favorite. So typically that is where games were forever. I've heard rumblings that changes, but home field had often been just 3 points. You get 3 points for home field. Now, another hot one, very humid in Nashville at Nissan Stadium on Sunday afternoon. And the Arizona-Tennessee game, I am picking the Tennessee Titans. Like the Titans in this game a lot, Derrick Henry will carry the load. Yet again, that's not a shock there. A mixed bag, though, against Arizona defensively. Arizona brought a bunch of fossils in like J.J. Watt, trying to solve some defensive issues. They also lost some guys to injury, as happens, the war of attrition during training camp. And in addition to that, retirement. A former Patriot Super Bowl hero I don't know if he's officially retired, but he's stepped away. Anyway, we don't know whether the Cardinals can stop the run or not, and you better be ready when you're going against Derrick Henry, the top running back in football by a country mile. And the Titans, now, one thing that scares me a little bit about Tennessee, I'm picking them, but they have recently gotten off to a pretty bad start in the last couple of years here. They've not been a good September team. In fact, the last 6 games they've played in September against the spread, they are just 1-5. So, but that tells you what has happened, not what's going to happen. Now, here's what I do expect to happen. Kyler Alligator Arms Murray will put up some stats, and the low information fan will get all excited about look at the stats. But it won't matter. They won't win the game. The Cardinals want to play up tempo. The Titans, they can play either way. They can ground and pound on offense with Derrick Henry. But if I'm the Tennessee offensive coaching staff, I go into this game thinking I'm not just going to run the ball with Henry, but I'm going to open it up. They have Julio Jones on one side and A.J. Brown on the other, and they're going against the Dollar General defensive backs of the Cardinals. So this should be an offensive, dominance by Tennessee here in this game. Now, the Cardinals will get their share of points, but in the end, the Tennessee Titans will stand atop the mountain 33-27. Tennessee will beat Arizona. And the Penny pick.
Penny is the other way, going with Arizona. What a shocker. Could be the NFC MVP this season in California.
Now, I look forward, Gascon. There's a tradition that when Alligator Arms occasionally makes a good play, you immediately send a text. But then when he takes a ride on the Vomit Comet, you conveniently vanish.
I mean, speaking of vanishing, I have a friend, a former colleague that has been in the message board for quite a while, and I have the luxury of actually having text messages set up to my computer. So not only do I get the YouTube comments, but I also get the text messages. And from a former colleague, he says, quote, "Ben needs to hurry the hell up. He's putting us to sleep."
I'm putting you to sleep? Really?
Wow. Yes.
Wow, I don't know who is that, man?
Well, that's a former colleague. You know him. You know him quite
well.
Oh,
I do.
But I can't name any names. Going to protect the innocent. And so
why not? You guys ripping me. Name him. Put his name out there. Come on. Put his name out there.
Hey, so you got 2 games this week that are your best bets. So this is obviously one of them indicated there, and obviously the highlighted color. So why do you take that as one of your best bets of the week?
Well, as I took a long time, Gascon, to explain this, but the reason I like the Tennessee Titans is multifold. I don't think Arizona is very good. I think the Titans are the better team. So you start with that as the backdrop, and then you look at the secondary of Arizona and the fact that Tennessee will be able to open up. And I'm not a big Ryan Tannehill guy. He has been very good in the regular season in recent years. I don't trust him in the playoffs. I believe he's a decoy in the playoffs. But the fact that Tennessee will be able to open it up, and Arizona, they're a passing team. I don't see them being able to run the ball much. And Tennessee's defense, a little bit better, at least on paper than they were, or on a computer than they were last year. So all of those variables lean towards Tennessee and lean to them being one of the top picks there. And that's why they've got the gold behind them, the Tennessee Titans.
Fair enough. Right, 4 down.
Yeah.
4 to go. We'll go to act number 2. And obviously, this is a big one. Going to D.C., I think this is huge for 2 different reasons. Obviously, the quarterback on one side and then the quarterback on the other, which you don't know is kind of schizophrenic at times.
Yeah. Well, this is the Eddie Garcia game of the week. My partner in arms enjoying Washington, D.C. He will be at this particular game here. Wonderful. He's been in D.C. all week. So the Chargers were originally favored in this game. It's on CBS. Spiro Ditas, the old Laker and Knicks broadcaster, and Jay Feely have the game. So the Chargers were a 2-point favorite, and now Washington is a 1-point favorite at FedEx Field. Now, I am taking Washington. If you listen to the radio show, I had my Twilight Zone, Bizarro, Parallel Dimension picks, and I had Washington in that weird other dimension. Yeah, taking the NFC. I am very high on Washington this year. I think the old Redskins will be good. And as you mentioned, the debut, Ryan Fitzpatrick in the burgundy and gold there. Ron Rivera, he has built, not really him, but the collective first-round picks and second-round picks and third-round picks. They have a very good defensive line and offensive line. And the raw ingredients are there yet again at the line of scrimmage, blocking and tackling. And Washington has historically, in the last many years here, been terrible at home. Just to point that out, straight up, the last 20 games at home, Washington is 4-16. Not against the spread, but straight up. That is puke bad. That turns around here. And now I am pulling for Brandon Staley also, the old Ram defensive coordinator. I like Washington in this spot. Better defensive line, better offensive line, and they will pull away. Expect some sophomore blues to start the season for Justin Herbert against a pretty good Washington defense. Washington 30 and the Chargers 17.
Penny is also with you on this one, going with the former Redskins as well.
There you go.
Over under on interceptions in this game, though, for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Is it 2.5?
No, you're assuming this is going to be one of his bad games. This could actually be one of his good games where he goes out and has 4 touchdowns and no interception. But if it's a standard Ryan Fitzpatrick game, he'll have 3 or 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a bad game, though, he'll have 2 touchdowns and like 4 interceptions. So it'll be reversed.
Yeah, and a pick 6 probably too.
Yeah, he's all over the place. But if you look at the numbers, historically, at his age last year in Miami, he is second only to Drew Brees in completion percentage for a quarterback at that age. And the top 4 slots are all of them in favor of Drew Brees. And then after that, it's not Tom Brady, it's not Warren Moon or any of those old cats from back in the day. It's Ryan Fitzpatrick.
We shall see.
He's on that list. All right, next up, Philadelphia at Atlanta. It is on Fox. So with Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olsen. Now, this is a new broadcast team. I believe Greg Olsen taking over now full time.
Yeah, he was moonlighting a couple of years ago, and now he's in the booth.
Yes. So the Falcons opened up a 4-point favorite in this game, and they are favored by 3.5 at this particular moment. And this is 2 bad teams, 2 teams that figure to be at the very bottom of their respective divisions at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So it's a dome. The weather doesn't matter. It's going to be hot in Atlanta. I'm going to take the Eagles in this game. And I actually wavered and waffled and gyrated back and forth on this. But I did finally settle in on the Eagles. And the theory here is a time-tested Benny versus the Penny theory. All right, time-tested here. When you have 2 bad teams, all things being equal, you take the points. So this is not an endorsement of Philadelphia. It is just a admission that Atlanta is also a hot mess. So why would you lay any points with Atlanta? Jalen Hurts, not the man. He's not. In Philadelphia. Gardner Minshew should be playing quarterback, will be playing quarterback for Nick Sirianni over the next, give it about a month or so, if Hurts stays healthy. The good news for Philly, and I wish I had known this before I started making wagers here, but the Philadelphia Eagles have the easiest schedule in the NFL, and it's not even close. It's not even Philadelphia. You talk about the hostess schedule here, and they are set up with a bunch of cupcakes. Their road schedule in particular is insanely easy, so that bodes well. But you still got to win the games. You still got to get it done in the games. But I am again taking the Atlanta Falcons to win the game, but the Eagles to cover, as the line is 3.5. Falcons 26, Eagles 23.
Penny's on the ATL. Going with the home team in this one.
Yeah, it would have been a good pick 5 or 6 years ago. That would have been a good pick. I don't know.
Brand new season. Got some new weapons around. Obviously, no Julio Jones. It's all good. We'll see what the Dirty Birds do this year.
I'm looking in the chat here.
Will there ever be a point that Chick-fil-A breaks and Chick-fil-A is open in Atlanta on Sundays for these games?
Well, didn't they have a Super Bowl there and they didn't open up for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, they did not waver.
If you're not going to sell fried chicken on Super Bowl Sunday. Now, I have not been to Atlanta. I heard from some of our listeners, actually 2 people, one was in Atlanta and one was in, I want to say North Carolina. There's another fast food chicken chain in Atlanta that is supposedly better than, I was told better than Raising Cane's. I find that hard to believe, and better than Chick-fil-A. And it's a chicken, I forget the name of it though. It's only in the South, I believe. Do you know, have you been?
I have not. That's high praise though. Holy hell.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'll have to, if anybody knows in the chat, let me know. Tommy says, looking good for the Eagle cupcakes galore. Yeah, there are a lot of cupcakes on that schedule for Philadelphia, especially the road schedule. I think it's by 100 percentage points easier than the next closest team in the NFL. So they're in good shape. They're playing a lot of clowns, a lot of clowns when they go on the road. I know.
Speaking of which, let's go to Indy, shall we?
Yes, Seattle at Indianapolis. It is on Fox. Friend of the show, closeted Maller militia guy, Kenny Albert. Now, we got to get Kenny on the podcast, but I want to wait till like hockey season because he's a hockey guy. He's the lead hockey announcer, right, at Turner. I believe I'm correct on that. And it's Kenny Albert and Jonathan Vilma calling the Seahawks and Colts game. Now, Seattle is favored in this game. Originally, when the line came out, they opened up the Colts favored by 2. That was before a bunch of wonky things happened. Seattle favored by 3 at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. And the pick is in. I'm taking the road favorite. I'm taking Seattle. I'll lay the 3 points. Now, both these teams, I'll tell you why, both these teams are equal on defense and special teams, which I think they are. Then what is going to be the point of separation? It's going to be quarterback play. And Russell Wilson, if you look at his football card, historically, he's been a much better player the first half. There's a point of demarcation with Russell Wilson where he comes out of the gates like gangbusters, and then right around week 8 or 9, he falls off the cliff, that he fades. And mid-season, he's the MVP, and then there's this decline as he goes down after that. And so the key here is to, with most Pete Carroll teams, defensive teams, he's a defensive guy, is to be able to slow down. Jonathan Taylor, Indianapolis, they can win this game if they're able to run the ball, and they don't need to have Carson Wentz take over. So if Seattle can just force Indianapolis into throwing situations and make Carson Wentz have to make some plays here as he steps into the frying pan for the horseshoes for the first time. He's a scatter shot type quarterback. He sucked at a time you cannot suck last year. He's at the very bottom of the totem pole. And it sucks because Indianapolis in every other area, they grade very high. If you're obsessed with the stats and you grade everything, the defense, the special teams, but if they only had a serviceable quarterback, I am betting he will not be a serviceable quarterback, Carson Wentz. And as a result of that, I am taking the Seattle Seahawks 24 and the Indianapolis Colts 17.
Wow, Penny's going with Indy in this one. Opposite way.
All right, so we disagree on that. Now, you're writing all this down, Gascon, right? Are you going to go back?
I am.
All right.
Chicken scratch and all.
All right, next up, we head to Cincinnati, where the Cincinnati Bros, I see just Josh hanging out in the chat. I don't know if Justin's in there. Justin might be passed out in the gutter somewhere. But moving on, Minnesota at Cincinnati. This game, Chris Myers used to work with Chris back at FSR back in the day, and Daryl Moose Johnston. How many different partners has Chris Myers worked with at Fox over the years? You have a list?
I'm going to say like probably close to 100.
Close. It seems that way, doesn't it?
Well, because don't forget, he does obviously Major League Baseball, does the NFL. He does the dog and pony show, right? Like the dog shows.
Well, yeah, he does that. That's great. We love the Westminster. Although this year, I forgot to watch it. They moved it to a different day of the week when I didn't realize it was on. But yeah.
Did it sync up Major League Baseball's Hall of Fame induction ceremony?
Yeah, what was up with that?
I don't know. Buried in the middle of the week.
Is that because they were making up for past years, so they had to have it during the week? Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess that makes sense, but bizarre, so bizarre. All right, anyway, let's get to it. Minnesota, Cincinnati, Vikings, a 2.5-point road favorite at the beginning, and now they are favored by 3. Minnesota had a very interesting training camp, to say the least. 88 degrees, very humid, a sultry day in the Natty, and I am going to take the home team, the Bengals. I'm taking Cincinnati plus the 3 points. This is more of a play against the Vikings than it is on Cincinnati. The Vikings were miserable in the preseason. Now you say, who cares? It doesn't matter. It's the exhibition. And I agree with that. But there's other outlying factors that are in play here outside of just having some bad exhibition games. Last season, the Vikings were 0-7 against the spread their last 7 games. Now, Mike Zimmer historically has been very good for gamblers, and not last year. They fell off the table there. There's a lot of internal strife. There's a faction of the Vikings led by Kirk Cousins that is rocking the boat because he's not following the team protocol enough, and they're getting upset with him. But I actually do believe Joe Burrow will be able to move the ball. He's got to be licking his chops here. He's coming back from injury, so there's going to be a feeling out process. But Minnesota has to prove they don't blow again in the secondary. The Vikings have allowed, if you go back to last year, I know it's a new year and there's some new players, but if you go back, they've allowed at least 24 points in each of their last 7 games. And it's not just Joe Burrow, but Joe Mixon should be able to run and rip off some big runs here for Cincinnati. The run defense for the Vikings, atrocious. They have to prove they're not garbage again. Now, I am taking a risk here because the Bengals are a bad football team also. And they have been horrifically bad in recent years in September. In fact, they're 0-6-1 in September, the last 7 September games. And so that's multiple quarterbacks, multiple coaches. But we say that they will end that misery right now, and the Bengals will be 1-0. You will not be hearing that sound very often there. In fact, you won't hear it at all because it's a road game for the Vikings. So
you never know.
The only time you'll hear it is right now. What's that?
So you never know, given the fact that attendance is kind of off.
Oh, that's true. Anyway, Bengals 33, Vikings 30.
Penny also going with Cincinnati, going with the Bengals.
All right. The Bengals are the pick. And they should sell a hat that just says Ben on it with the orange and black. I'd buy that.
So is it size 8? Size 8.5, your cranium?
Size 8, yes. Size 8. I dusted off the NFL hat, my special NFL hat. I dusted off just for Benny.
Yeah, it looks good. Looks as good as your green screen.
You like my green screen? Well, the green screen, as you know, Gascon, I moved. I'm in the construction version of the Maller Mansion. But the audio is great, right? We have had no audio issues, unlike last year when I sounded like that. So.
No, it's all good. Have you told anyone that you've moved to Malibu yet?
I do not live in Malibu. I still live. I live east of the 405. I'm not west of the 405.
Not yet.
So I'm on the east side of the 405. So there is that.
Not yet. Speaking of which, this is very east side in the Motor City.
Yeah, absolutely. Santa Clara at Detroit.
Oh.
Of course, they're called San Francisco, but
this is like the time where you bake your pie, right? Like this is the game. This is the time where you don't even turn it on. You just fire away and let it ride.
Well, this is the kind of a game that separates the casual from the more nuanced gambler. So you've got Kevin Kugler and Mark Sanchez on the call on Fox. Now, the Niners opened up a 7-point favorite, Gascon, 7-point favorite in this game, and they are a 9-point favorite. That's what we have it at. That's the biggest line this weekend in the NFL, and that is a bet. The line is originally, the line opens and then the public sets the final line. The bookmakers set the opening line and then the public sets the final line. So the public loves the Niners here based on that and some of the other numbers that we have. But I'm going the other way, Gascon. You got to be bold. You got to have blinders on. You got to block out the noise. Don't worry about what the dum-dums say on television. Give me the Lions to roar and at least cover the spread in this game. Now, I know they look like a cartoon with Dan Campbell, but I love betting bad teams before injuries set in, before they realize they're a terrible team, and also as an added bonus, as the late, great Ron Popeil would say, but wait, there's more. As an added bonus here, you have early season mistakes for both teams. Like
Mhm.
the 49ers are not going to play a clean game. They're going to make mistakes. There's going to be penalties. There'll be turnovers. And that's the great equalizer. And in order to win a game by almost double digits, you have to play a pretty clean game and a pretty error-free game in order to get that done. And I'm not sitting here to upsell the Lions. I don't think the Lions are any good. I hate Jared Goff. He killed me with the Rams the last couple of years. DeAndre Swift is actually not bad. The offensive line for the Lions, if you believe the ratings that are out on the nerd websites, is pretty good. I've not spent much time grading the Lions' offensive line. But the 49ers, who knows who's going to finish the game at quarterback. We know Jimmy G is going to start, but will Trey Lance get in? And I just expect this to be a closer game early in the season. And there's no way I am laying that big a number. It's very rare that I will lay a favorite of a touchdown or more. Certainly not in a divisional game. This is not a divisional game. But home underdogs. I've been doing this a while, Gascon. Home underdogs cover the spread more often than not. So all things being on the same level, you generally will lean to the home team, and I am leaning to the home team here. Dan Campbell and the Lions. 49ers win it 30-24. Lions win the money.
Man, Penny's going with the chalk, going with San Francisco -9. Oh, my.
-9. That is a massive, as I said, massive number. Several people in the chat, Gascon, pointing out what happened to Hayes in Minnesota. And that is a great question. I do not know. Hayes, one of our more wacky callers, the guy that claimed to work and wash bodies at a mortuary in the Twin Cities. And he called every week for a couple of months and then just fell off the face of the earth. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened there. But anyway.
Hey, it's probably the game of the week.
Yeah, this is the game of the week for CBS. Cleveland at Kansas City. You know it's big because Jim Nance is there. And
Tony Romo will be there.
Yes, I believe Romo will be there, unless he's working remotely because of COVID.
Yeah, like last
I don't
season.
know. I think they'll both be there. But Jim Nance, Tony Romo, the Chiefs opened up a 6-point favorite in this game. They are favored by 5.5. And originally, when I started handicapping this game, I was on the side of Kansas City. But the more I looked at it, the more I crunched the numbers because I'm a loser. I actually went the other way, and I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns on a 90-plus degree afternoon, sunny, typical hot Kansas City weather in September. So I'm taking the Browns. This is the marquee, made-for-television game of the week. Baker Mayfield back in Kansas City to take on a team that they matched up with last year in the postseason, the Brownies. Here's the recipe for Kevin Stephani. Here's the recipe, right? Between the tackles, it's obvious. You run early and often with the two-headed monster, Nick Chubb, Chubba Lub Lub, and Kareem Hunt, and only sprinkle in randomly Baker Mayfield. Now, if the Browns come out here thinking that they're going to sling it all over the place with Baker Mayfield, Baker's going to throw multiple interceptions, and the Browns are going to lose this game by 2 touchdowns. But if you come out here and you run the ball and stay loyal to that, do not waver from that. Do not have a wandering eye from that. Are you listening? That's the strategy to stay within the margin on this game. Now, I love Mahomes and Kansas City. I'm not laying almost a touchdown against a good defensive team in Cleveland. Myles Garrett, Malik Jackson, guys like that are going to make a whole bunch of noise up front. The Chiefs made some changes on their offensive line, and the secondary in Cleveland is pretty good also. So I expect this game to be back and forth, high-scoring game. Most of these games are going to be like that in the 30s. The Chiefs are going to win the game, but the Browns will stay within the 5.5. Chiefs 34, Browns 30.
Penny don't see it that way. Let's go with Kansas City.
Yeah. Well, you bet favorites, and you'll be asking for handouts when you bet favorite. Right. Now, one of my 5-star picks, my other 5-star pick from this weekend in the NFL, and I have not lost a 5-star pick in the entire 2021 NFL season. I am perfect. I've yet to pick up a loss. So Miami at New England on CBS. Kevin Harlan and Trent Green have the call. Patriots opened a 2.5-point favorite, and they are favored by 3 at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. It is a 5-star Maller pick of the week, and I am taking the New England Patriots at home to smile from ear to ear the Patriot way. It's another matchup between the teacher, Bill Belichick, and the pupil, Brian Flores, on the sidelines. A couple of old Alabama quarterbacks. Mac Jones in his debut. He's fresh out of the box. What's in the box? Mac Jones. And he's coming out of the box right now. And now I don't have a lot of confidence that Mac Jones is going to be that great. And I don't believe Bill Belichick has confidence. I think Belichick's going to play this close to the vest. That would be the wise thing here. The secret to this game is that Belichick is going to use Jedi mind tricks on Tua Tagovailoa, who's already rattled. The team doesn't trust him. They didn't even vote him the captain. And Tagovailoa is going to have an ulcer going against the Patriot defense in this game. The Dolphins are good across the board, but they're not great in any area. And the Patriots defensively should be a top 5 defense in the NFL with the changes and the players they got back from the COVID list, in addition to the guys they added. They will be able to run the ball against Miami with Damian Harris, and then you can throw those little dump-off passes, the bubble screens, the little short passes that Mac Jones should be able to do fine to James White. And if you mix and match that together, that's a hydrogen bomb on offense. And the Dolphins will not be able to consistently put points on the board. They will not be able to get touchdowns in this game. If I am correct about the Patriot defense, and I believe I am, it'll be low scoring, though. Patriots, 20. And the Dolphins in an AFC East rhubarb, 13.
Penny's going with New England in this one.
All right, so the Penny agreeing with my 5-star pick of the week, the 5-star pick of the week. All right, next up, we go now to New Jersey, and that is where the Giants, Smalls play. The New York Giants, they play host to Denver, your favorite team, Gascon, and this game on Fox. Adam Amin, am I getting that right?
Adam Amin.
I don't know who that is. I butcher that guy's name every year. Adam Amin.
Yeah.
All right. Mark Schlereth is also calling this game on Fox. Now, the Giants were originally a 1-point favorite. The Broncos, a 3-point favorite in this game.
Yeah, I like it.
So a big change. That scares me a little bit because that tells you that the public is buying into the Broncos in this game, which I don't want to be on the side of the public. I want to be on the side of the other people. But I am going to take the Broncos in this game, and there's a couple of reasons why. If you look at the head-to-head matchup, offense, defense, special teams, every unit, the top unit here by far is the Denver defense. So Von Miller is back. Bradley Chubb, assuming he doesn't get any more traffic citations and is allowed to play in this game. Kareem Jackson, all those big-name guys, and the other guys that aren't as big names but are pretty good. Guardians of the Galaxy in the Mile High City. Defense travels well. But if you go back, here's a fun fact. If you go back to 2001 to 2020, the quarterback that had the top winning percentage against the spread, Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Teddy Bridgewater, over 700% his winning percentage, and that's with a bunch of different teams. Minnesota, with New Orleans, and with Carolina last year, although it didn't go that well last year in Carolina. He's the perfect quarterback for Uncle Vic. He's a system quarterback. Hand the ball off with Melvin Gordon, the other running backs there, and mix in, much like the Browns have to do. The Broncos should model that remedial game plan here where you occasionally mix in Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy, but mostly run the ball and depend on your defense. But if we're honest here, I am just betting against the stumble bum, Daniel Jones. This is more of a play against Daniel Jones than it is a play on the Broncos, because there's a term in football, they call it Emmys. Not television, but it's mental errors they call Emmys in football. So I expect several of those against the Broncos defense. Turnovers will flip the field position, which will make things easier on Teddy Bridgewater. Broncos 27, Giants 17.
Not a surprise. Penny's going with the road team, going with Denver.
In the chat, I just wanted to mention the minions are going at it. Tommy pointing out that he's eating pizza and tri-tip.
It's good. I like Tommy.
Are we doing food picks with Tommy? Are we doing
good? Tommy's got a good head of hair. He's a good cook.
Yeah. Now, do you put the tri-tip on top, or do you eat the tri-tip on one plate and the pizza on the other?
I think you put the tri-tip on top. You got to be compelled to do that, right?
So do you cook the pizza with the tri-tip, like a tri-top, like
no,
or tri?
Absolutely not.
Like a barbecue chicken pizza, where you put the barbecue chicken on while you're cooking the pie? No,
absolutely. The only way I would do something like that is if I wrapped asparagus with bacon. Then you cook them together.
Okay. No asparagus.
Why not?
Disgusting. It's disgusting. You haven't sent me any food picks.
Let's go. Let's do this thing.
All right, here we go. Green Bay at New Orleans. It is on Fox. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, the Packers, a 3.5-point favorite in this game. And I am taking the Green Bay Packers in Jacksonville on a very humid 85-degree day. Just thinking about that makes me want to sweat. The Packers are the pick. Aaron Rodgers' future is no longer a beautiful mystery, at least not this season. We know where he is. He's back in jail with Green Bay. And now he gets good news. You don't have to go to the Megadome in New Orleans, and instead you're going to Jacksonville. And I know the Packer fan base, the season ticket holders of the Packers, and the stockholders, they will be out in force. The Saints moved this game from the Big Easy because of the hurricane and the post-mortem on that, but they assumed that the Packer fans would not be able to make it from Wisconsin. What they did not calculate is how many Packer fans there are in Florida and in all over the South. I mean, there's tons of Packer fans. They're a national team, so there will be plenty of Packer fans there. Not that that's going to matter that much, but the one person who will not be there is Drew Brees. Jameis Winston gets the keys to the BMW, but the BMW is missing a wheel. It's missing a wheel. Michael Thomas is not walking through that door out on the field. He's out for the first at least month, probably a lot longer than that. So the Saints are lacking the wow factor outside of Alvin Kamara. They need a lot of Alvin Kamara because there's nobody else that really jumps off the computer screen that you say, wow, that guy's great. That guy's great. Now, I am pulling for Jameis Winston. He should be the quarterback. We're happy. But he is a mistake-prone player. The Packers defense will take advantage of that. This will be a close game, but in the end, Green Bay wins it 27-23.
Penny's going, go Pack, go.
All right. Alf, the alien opiner, says, on-time Mallard, by the clock, for the clock, plausibly all about the clock. It seems that Dave has you on a tight leash this year. Am I on a dog leash, Gascon? Well, we did want to make this a little quicker, right? Because we felt we dragged on too long. Yeah. And plus, we're going to repackage some of this. I think that's the plan, right?
Yeah.
That's the plan. So, all right, next up for us, Sunday Night Football. Your last opportunity for Sunday to make money. Sunday Night Football, Chicago in L.A. against the Rams. Rams a big favorite, one of the bigger favorites in the NFL this weekend. They opened up a 6.5-point favorite. They are favored by 7.5 in the hood in Inglewood at SoFi Stadium, the first regular season game with fans in attendance and that shitty food that they have at SoFi Stadium. I've never been there, but the food looks disgusting on some of the photos I saw online. The pick on this game, give me the R-A-M-S Rams. They will be victorious here. Aaron Donald and that front of the Ram defense are going to take their samurai swords out and destroy the Chicago offensive line. Andy Dalton is going to be like a defensive back at the scouting combine doing a backpedaling drill, running backwards for his life. And that is the foundation. People make the mistake that the Rams are an offensive team, but they're a defensive team. They spent a lot of capital on defense. Now, they had Aaron Donald, but they brought in Jalen Ramsey, made a couple of other moves on defense over the last couple of years to improve that. You know, they're very good last season with Brandon Staley, the defensive coordinator. He's gone now. Many of the players are still there. We wouldn't be shocked if Chicago, midway through this game, made a call to the bullpen, not because Andy Dalton's bad, but because Andy Dalton suffers an injury. And Justin Fields gets tossed in to the middle of the oven in this game. Now, Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford, we said this on the radio show the other night. They go together like peanut butter and jelly. Okay, this is going to be great. And all the haters and all the cockroaches are going to go scurrying around once Matthew Stafford starts cooking. And the lights turn on here for the Rams. Stafford clearly knows the Bears. The Bears know him from being with the Lions all these years. Rams, though, will come out and spread the ball all over the place. They don't have to score a bunch of points, but they will score a bunch of points, and they're going to blow the doors off the Bears. I don't normally bet big favorites. The Rams, though, with Sean McVay, 4-0 against the spread in Week 1 games with Sean McVay. Make that 5-0. It's a big number. Rams 37 and the Bears 17.
Penny's going with the Chicago Bears in this one. Man.
All right, well, that's a bad pick by the Penny. That's a bad pick. All right, next up, last game. You want to hurry up? We'll get to the last game. Here we go. Baltimore at – yes. Yeah. No. Baltimore at Las Vegas. And are you going to this game? Are you going to drive over to Vegas and go to this game? No?
Drive or fly, right?
Well, I drive. You like to fly.
Yeah.
Not
these days.
Well, you're closer to the airport being west of the 405. So you're over there. It's a little further for me. But Baltimore and Las Vegas, the Monday night game, so the usual Three Stooges for ESPN will be in the booth. Ravens, a 4-point favorite in this game. They open up a 5.5-point favorite. Baltimore favored by 4 at Allegiant Stadium in Sin City, which is actually Paradise, Nevada. That's where the Strip is in Paradise, Nevada, actual Las Vegas proper. Some people don't know that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm taking the Raiders in this game. I like the Raiders in the Monday night game. I'll tell you why. All right. Now, I know on the outside, the Raiders have been a raggedy team, and training camp didn't go well for them. They had some off-field issues, front office people leaving, players retiring. This is an opportunity to hit the reset button. But it's more of a play against the Ravens than it is on the Raiders. The Raiders are a pretty average NFL team. They're going to be right in the middle of the bell curve again. They're a garden variety team. If a few things go right, they're a playoff team. If nothing goes right, they're not a playoff team. If things go wrong, then they're a top 10 pick team. I expect Derek Carr to hold his own home cooking. The Raiders have some talent at the skill positions here. The Ravens are a pretty good defensive team, but I expect the Raiders to matriculate the ball down the field. But the main reason to like the Raiders getting 4 points in this game is the running ability of the Ravens. The Ravens are not a passing team. They cannot pass the ball. They were the worst passing offense last year. And if you can't run the ball other than have Lamar Jackson run around like a banshee, that does not seem like a good formula to win a game on the road on a Monday night. Now, we mentioned this in a radio show that Lamar Jackson is going to need a Lamar Jackson doppelganger to hand the ball off to. He's going to have to clone himself here, find a carbon copy. Otherwise, good luck. Now, the only way that I see Baltimore winning this game by the margin is if there's a bunch of turnovers by the Raiders. It's early season, as we said all along here on Benny versus the Penny. These games will all have a couple of things in common: turnovers and penalties, mistake-filled football, and that is often the great equalizer. And I like the Raiders to win this game outright. Now, the Ravens will still end up in the playoffs, but it's going to take them a little while to figure out, with the Gus Bus gone, Gus Edwards and L. Bell coming in, some guy named Tyson as the other running back for now. Raiders 27, Ravens 26.
Penny's also going with the Raiders in this one. Oh, my.
Oh, my. All right, so the Raiders are the pick. And that we're out of games. We are out of games.
A full allotment, though. We got 18 weeks now of ball and 17 games, so we will have a lot on our plate for this NFL season.
Yeah, and then people have been asking what time is it going to be the same time every week. I think the tentative plan is to have it at the same time, depending on scheduling issues. Occasionally, we might have to move it to a different time, but I think the plan, this works well. Not for my sleep schedule, Gascon, but who needs sleep?
Well, the good thing is that we get it over with early in the day so you can sleep the rest of the day.
No, I got to live my life, man. I don't have to prepare for a radio show. I can go out and enjoy myself, have a good time,
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Continue to build up on the mansion, and you get the weekend all in front of you.
Yeah. Now, have you voted yet in the California election? Have you voted?
I have not been there yet. I will be going to the polling centers on September the 14th. So
what my move is here, I hate waiting online to vote. So when I vote the King of California out, the monarchy of California, when I vote the governor out, I'm going to fill out my ballot and then drop it off. See, they put it in the same box. At least I did this last year, and they just put it in the same spot. So that way I know that it's in the right place and nobody's going to blow it up or whatever. So anyway.
A few days away. It's exciting times, man. But, of course, the NFL season is king. College football is right behind it. Not as many good games on the docket for college football. But, hey, we get the fellas back, the defending champs, of course, with the victory. And you started off 1-0 along with the Pennies, so we're good to go. Don't forget, everyone, thumbs up, please, to this video.
Yes, thumbs up. And tell a friend. Sharing is caring, right? Tell your friend. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend.
And also subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe, it obviously helps us out. And at the same time, it also provides some updated features and videos. And we also have a couple links, courtesy of Fanatics. So any kind of discounts applicable, click on the affiliate code below. That'll help us out for, obviously, the show.
Absolutely. And good luck. Live long and prosper. And we will be back we got a full weekend of podcasts. We got tomorrow, Nonsense, the podcast on Sunday, the mailbag. And today, the 5th Hour podcast, Jim Mora. Playoffs, diddly poo. I love Jim. Jim's he's wonderful. So, hey, we'll catch you next time.